go a little bit better here. Spawning in the bottom position of Light's Shade, he is our blue Protoss Trap. And his opponent up here in the red corner, he is Time. Now, as you can kind of see, Trap is playing it a little bit more defensively. He's being very cautious with his opponent, just scouting out those feasible proxy positions just to make sure that he doesn't really miss anything. Trap, to his credit, is not building anything outside of his base, so everything's kind of right with the world in that sense. But you can never be too careful as, a lot of the time as a Protoss, you're very vulnerable to those early game cheeses out of Terran players. Just very early on, you can take a lot of damage if you're not too careful here. But, I think Time wants to play this series straight up once again, just like he did in the previous one versus Solar. And yeah, I don't think he's really going to be going too crazy in terms of what he's going for. But we do have that Reaper coming on in for the scouting information. The first probe is going to be moving across the map to kind of get the confirmation that nothing too cheeky is going on. Actually, just going to hide it a little bit for that Reaper to come on down. I gotta say, this is actually really cool thing that these players do. Just the fact that they know the timings so consistently that they know exactly when that Reaper is supposed to move out, and then they can kind of base their timing around that. It's just these small things that really show what it takes to be a professional StarCraft 2 player. Just really studying those small, minute details. Already, Trap is going to get some pretty good damage done. 2 workers going down and delaying the CC for just a little bit of time. He was working on that reactor, so he still doesn't really have a unit count to deal with this. Trap, oh my goodness, he's got all the time in the world to play around. Now behind this we do have Blink. We've got the Robo facility going down. I don't see any probe out on the map, so it's not going to be another proxy, a dark shrine here. But I mean, Time hasn't really been in Trap's base at all. So I mean, you can pretty much throw anything down in the main base, and Time would have no idea. Reaper being very cautious here. Blink is almost done, but this is really just more of a defensive Blink, as the Robo Bay is going to be completed as well, going straight up to Colossus or Disruptor Tech. Here we do have that third base on the way, so Time's not going to be really too far behind here, as Trap hasn't even started his own third. But I mean, there's a lot of variables here for when Time does decide to move out. Does he bring the siege tanks and try and get a good siege position down here at the bottom of the ramp? Does he try and come up from the top and get a cancel on that third base, or does he kind of get picked off by this 4-stalker hit squad? that's coming across the map, looking to kind of slow him down in any way he can. Okay, some okay damage from those three SCVs from one stalker. That's an okay trade. But, you know, now as time goes on, we do see those upgrades going to be starting to kick in. We've got the double forge, so he's going to be able to pump those out quite quickly and quite efficiently. As well as going up to that Colossus deck, which is just really good versus what Time has right now. And I mean, Time, he's playing it very defensively. He's not really been out on the map. He's been allowing Trap a lot of room to breathe in this first game. So, not so much a huge issue, but still, you really don't want a Protoss player to have an unfettered economy. So we should be seeing him start to do some sort of drop play, maybe a couple of Widow Mines here and there. You just got to do something. Alright, Templar Archives behind all of this, so, I mean, Trap has just gotten every single tool that he needs. Scan going down, revealing the third base. And, I mean, taking a look at this, Time does have a big army supply, but the quality of Trap's army is much better. He's got plenty of AoE. He's got that splash about to come up with the Archons that he adds in. And he has the upgrades that really make such powerful units out of these Protoss players. So he's more than happy with his spot in the game. He doesn't really care that a Widow Mine's coming across the map. He'll just split away from it. But here we go. Time is going to be moving on out. Oh, a little bit of a late pull there. So 7 workers going down, 8 in total, and now Trap is going to find himself a little bit of a position to move into. But is there enough to really take care of this? The Zealots getting on top of this bio pretty darn quickly. A lot of dead damage taken down with the Colossus, but it's still not enough really for Time to push in effectively. So he's just going to retreat for right now, saving as many siege tanks as possible for his next big strike. Alright, so Trap is still pushing his way forward here. He doesn't have a huge army with this, but he is able to reinforce quite heavily there. The Widow Mine not going to be able to get a kill, just weakening up some stuff. But the siege tanks are sieged up. They do get one cheeky shot off right there. So now Trap once again on the retreat. He's going to be going for a bit of a drop behind this, and I do like that, kind of just to pull away Time's attention. But does he even have Storm? No, he does not. He's going into Disruptors to try and break this. I don't even know if there was a War Prism right there. That's how fast it went down. One Adepto putting in the work. 6 kills on it alone. Now time, he's completely maxed out, so if he wants to move out, the time for that is right about now, because you don't want to be giving your opponent time to max out himself, and this is the perfect army composition to kind of kick his teeth in. A Dorito cannon going to be coming down as well. The first Colossus falls. One big disruptor hit, taking down some of those ghosts as well. EMP is not really landing on a good chunk of this army, so I mean, time is going to be forced back for right now. But he's just got to keep this attack going. I would love to see him do a little bit more here. Small Zealot Rabbi going to be going straight for the natural. But the forces that are pushed forward do just get taken down, so time not fighting with a good chunk of his army. And the reinforcements getting picked off as well. Looks like he's just going to go straight for the main base. I mean, he's going to get a lot of work done here. Recall is forced. Disruptor is just barely going to get its shot off, and this is actually cleaned up here. So Trap takes the army supply lead once again. And Trap has to pick on up and get out of there. If Trap wins off the back of that dirty disruptor hit, I'm going to be, like, crying for the Terran. Alright, so time has transitioned into those Liberators, just trying to do what he can to keep the Disruptors off his army. Dorito cannon only going to hit one of those Archons, but the Disruptor pushing the bio straight into the hands of waiting Archons, and Trap sprung that trap very nicely, and he will take game number 1 and get this series off to a rolling start. I gotta say, Trap, he's he has been struggling a little bit versus Terran recently. It's only about 56% of his win rate in the last month. But he is one of the players, when Protoss are kind of in a bit of a struggle right now, he's one of the ones that's just holding the line in a way that is so important for the Protoss race. He is essentially making sure that there's going to be no nerfs or buffs for Protoss. So for that, for all the other races, we do thank you for that. Granted, we're not going to get any new buffs or nerfs anyway. No more new patches. Yeah, it is in a decent spot. Like no race is really overpowered. It's just kind of the Terran and Zerg players are on a tear recently, and we always have those kind of periods where one race looks pretty strong, but then it kind of evens out as the other races kind of find their groove. And you know what? Speaking of finding their groove, this guy has wrong score. This guy has done it in game number 1. Let's see if he can keep up that momentum. Spawning in the bottom, he is Trap. And his opponent up here in the top position, he is Time. So we saw how cautious Trap is being right now. He's really expecting that proxy play on this map and the previous one. So he's just going to be very, very careful in how he does this scouting. He's going to get there a lot quicker as well. So, you know, this is pretty good for him right now. He sees pretty much nothing that would be a cause for alarm, although time is going to be skipping that Reaper. And again, we've kind of seen Terran players tend to not go for that this much anymore. Instead, just sending one of those SCVs across the map to get that early scouting information, because the Reaper not really going to be able to jump around as efficiently as you would like, so it's not really going to be helpful getting that getting any additional information. So yeah, it looks like Trap is going to be kind of just hiding out with this probe. He could throw down a starport right there if he wanted to, but he's not going to decide to do that. Yeah, I think this is the scariest probe right now. You don't know where it is as time, and like, it is just one of those situations where the scariest probe is the one you can't see. Sorry, I'm starting to lose my voice a little bit here. A lot of casting recently. The Adept's going to be coming up here. He wants to get that scanning information. I don't think he's going to let that finish. No, he does cancel it. And I mean, from here, we do see that time is going to be going for that sort of Widowmine drop play. Looking to get what he can done with that. That's pretty much a bunch of burst damage that you do need to follow up with a little bit more consistent damage if you want to kind of keep any lead that you have with that. But yeah, he's going to be moving out with that pretty soon. Nothing too much else to say here. The Robo Facility blink transition for safety, as well as being able to get those kind of cheeky pickoffs. It's just pretty important to slow down any sort of push, any sort of aggressive move out from time. All right, there you go. A super not committed drop here. Only 2 Widow Mines in that medevac. Time is paying attention, but this was just barely seen, so the Stalkers are going to be able to be in position. Looks like the Adept did get taken down there, so already, hey, perfect game for time so far. You know, sometimes it's 2 ships passing in the night, but no, that was 2 ships passing in the middle of daytime with a big flare saying, "Here I am." All right, so he is going to decide against that for right now. Just going to keep these together as he's going to be moving down the bottom. The Stalkers are in the back, so he's going for a good reach around. But Time now can know that he can push these siege tanks a lot further forward, and even the Widowmine is going to be helping out for the defense, so he's going to get a pretty easy kill, I'd say, on this base. Blink forward, that was not the right move here. And although the siege tanks have fallen, he's already lost the base. He's already lost the base, and these stalkers are completely out of position. So he does clean it up, but at what cost, Kalaris? Oh, actually, never mind. He did save the base, so okay. Ignore what I just said there. Not an easy kill. He did go for the immortal, trying to get that damage done, but now just going to move command through. And I mean, what looked to be a really good position there for time for just a minute seems to kind of backfired on. Now, keep in mind, he's not dead by any stretch of the imagination, but I'd say he's playing from a little bit behind now. Just a little bit. So just going to medevac, or just going to lift this, those units into the main base. They will be able to get a couple of pickoffs here before they will have to get out of here. The reinforcements coming back in. Stim not complete just yet, so they will be able to get a little bit more done. Yeah, good juggling there. Going to keep a lot of them. 9 workers. I gotta say, that is the kind of damage that Trap needs to keep doing here. It's very consistent, and it really just puts the fear that that War Prism is anywhere in time. So he's going to be a little bit more afraid to move on out of the map. Yeah, but ZVT is always been the kind of the most equal matchup. Even when it kind of looked like Zerg were overwhelming, we did still see this kind of period where Terrans pushed through that and just absolutely decimated. And it really depends on what situation in the game there for PvT. The late game does favor, can favor Protoss a little bit, but it all comes down to, once again, that kind of control that you see out of the Terran player. I think in every single matchup there is the reactionary race and the one who kind of sets the pace for the game. And I think a lot of the time it's the Terran who sets that pace while the Protoss has to react. So they're a little bit more versatile in the later stages. But you know what? The Storms dropping on top of the Siege Tanks, not really getting huge connections on top of the Marauders, but there you go. Now getting what he needs done. The Stalker's going to blink forward, take care of the rest of the Siege Tanks, but there is not enough here for Trap. That was a bit of an overextension. He is going to have to back on out of there after losing pretty much everything. That's all his splash, all his AoE, all his high-tier expensive units gone. And yeah, now Time has a pretty big window where he can not only take this base, but push in, try and get some damage done of his own. Oh, that explains it. He didn't have a robotics bay. I'm going to be using this moment to move on out, but Trap does want to clean up this location because that's a beautiful spot for the siege tanks to kind of siege up behind. Huge storm going to go down and blanket the army, but there's no real follow-up to that, so they will just heal and retreat. We do see those disruptors in the production tab as well. EMP going to blanket a little bit of this army. The Zealots going to be coming down from the back with the Widow Mines. Just doing massive amounts of work right here. I think Time has broken this location, as there's not really a huge follow-up here for Trap. The supply is starting to dwindle as well. A few more Warpins going to help clean this up. But again, at what real cost here for Trap? He's going to need some really good disruptor connections if he wants to get back into it. Now Time's still going to be rotating around. He's got a decent transition here. He's getting those Vikings, expecting the Colossus. But looks like he's having a little bit of lag issues. Potentially, we'll have to see what he is having a little bit of an issue with. Not that big a deal. It looks like coming back into it. And you know, Time really has been giving Trap a lot of room to breathe here. Even going up to that 5th base as well. We do see those supplies not relatively equal, but they're really kind of getting slowed down more and more here. Thought I saw a nuke in the production tab, but it was just the +3 upgrades there. One Widow Mine going to go down on up there, but he's going to be moving up here. But there's enough in both locations for Trap to really dive on top of this, and Time really being a little bit cautious here. Does not want to lose either of these armies, as we have the Liberators coming in the back as well, just for a little bit of extra damage. Before it can really get any damage done, those go down. And now I think with Time starting to consolidate his forces a bit, like he's going to have to go for these big pushes, but Trap is about to take the army supply lead for the first time in a while, and there you go. He's almost completely maxed out. Scan gonna go down. He wants to bait out some of these storms. More Zealots got hit than anything right there. The Colossus in the back helping out as well, though. The Disruptors whipping their shots, and this is when Time starts to dive on top of this, but the Disruptors gonna be enough to push this back once again. All right, that started to look pretty good for Time as his army surge their way forward, but Trap is able to recover from that and do a fantastic job of cleaning that up. Now Trap is going to lose this base. I don't think he cares too much. He's probably going to want to trade a base for a base here. Yeah, he's just going to go straight for it. Disruptor going to go into the air, hoping that they will hit something. The SCV's starting to fall as well. But Time doing massive amounts of damage here in the natural. The Immortals are starting to fall. So it's not really that much of a base race situation, but it is kind of a trade base for base here, as 2 bases of Trap do go down, a good majority of his SCVs as well, but he still has 44, so he's still in an okay position from that standpoint. He just needs to retake these locations with these additional command centers that he has. Trap once again going for a big maxed out push. This time he's got pretty much everything. Laser giraffes. He's got exploding Totino's pizza rolls. And yeah, he's got the speedy delivery service. A couple of storms going down, but the High Templar do get taken down. The Disruptor's not able to get past the Liberator field. So he's just going to have to rotate around and find a better position to kind of engage into. But again, it's pretty tricky for him to do so. Here we go. He's just going to have to fight it right here. EMP is going down over a good majority of those Stalkers. Disruptors getting a couple of decent connections, but Time is going to dive right on top of this. And Trap is going to go on the retreat, losing a little bit more health on those Stalkers with that Widowmine going off. This is literally a huge minefield that Time has set up all over the place. And now he's going to go on the attack. This game is so crisscross applesauce. That is really hard to say who's completely ahead. But it looks like Trap taking a not so favorable engagement, and we are going to be going tied up 1-1. This is certainly a series for the ages. Yeah, we are going to be hopping into our next one. Game number 3 is going to be on Pillars of Gold. Excuse me, Jagannatha. Yeah, that was an excellent play there from Time. He really kind of baited Trap into those unfavorable engagements. And he took such good care of his army that the second that he kind of wore Trap down, he was able to get that big final push in and kind of go from there. Let's see if we can continue this, because spawning down here in the bottom position of Jagannatha, it is formerly of Jin Air Green Wings, Trap. And his opponent up here in the top, currently playing for Kaidzu Gaming, he is Time. Now, it looks to me... never mind. I don't think Time is going to be super aggressive. This is quite a big map to play on. So, I'm kind of expecting a little bit of a longer game here. We did see that kind of what could happen in a longer game situation. And I mean, that's kind of how Time's been winning most of his games tonight. Remember, almost every game versus Solar went at least 20 minutes. And every time he won, it was just this slow whittle down of his opponent. So I think that's kind of his game plan in a lot of different situations, which, I mean, I gotta respect that. That's a really difficult thing to do. This late in a tournament, you know, you're starting to get a little bit tired. Your opponent might want to start going for those quicker games, so they get a little bit more aggressive, and then they slip up because of that, you know? They get a little bit too aggressive. I've definitely seen Trap go for these big stalker pushes, these blink stalker blink-ins, and just go straight into a 3 siege tank mineral line and absolutely get decimated and then lose from there. I think Time just barely saw that, but he wasn't paying attention, so he doesn't see this proxy coming down. A 4 trap, it's probably just going to be a Stargate, so nothing too crazy, but you do need to be ready for it. Alright, so it's going to be Widowmine drops once again for Time. I would like to see him kind of throw down those Widowmines in random locations to deal with the Oracle that's about to pop into his main base very quickly. And yeah, there you go, a nice hidden location where the Oracle might not be paying attention for just a second. And I mean, from here, you still got to get a little bit of damage done versus the Protoss. You can't afford to let them go up to that big, aggressive 3-base economy unscathed. So, yeah, Trap actually just holding back these Oracles, waiting for 2 of them so he can help one-shot the SCVs, it looks like. Actually, he's just going to go for a straight-up Marine drop. So, that's actually a pretty risky move here. Oh no, losing one of those Oracles very quickly on, expending a lot of energy as well, taking down that Widowmine. So obviously not the best trades here for Trap. He's losing a lot of health on that Oracle. He does get 4 workers in the end though, so that's going to help out quite a bit. And now Time is going to back off with that drop. Okay, so I mean, match point there for Trap. Oh, focuses down the second Oracle right there. That was hilarious. Yeah, you know, Time is setting up for his next stage of the game. He's got Stim on the way, 3 racks production. We should be seeing that 3rd CC any time now. And then from here, you just play that straight up macro game. Try and outplay your opponent. Take some decent fights, some good engagements. The problem is you've going up to the additional 5 gateways. You've got the Templar Archive on the way. The upgrade's going to be kicking in. No Robo facility just yet, but I don't think that's really on his agenda.
Armed and ready. SCV ready.
Alright, so the Phoenix still kind of dancing around as well. He still hasn't seen that. Okay, never mind. He has seen that. I would like to see him kind of take that down, but right now he does want to focus on this big attack coming across. Only 1 siege tank, so the Phoenix are going to have a field day with that if he's not careful. +1 attack is complete. The Archons have been disabled for right now, so they are not going to be part of this engagement just yet. The force fields not in high enough numbers to keep this off the ground. So time just going to continuously push this location. The Zealous now going to dive on top of this. The Phoenix going to do what they can to pick up that siege tank. They finally do get it. But there's not really that much left on the ground for Trap. He might barely clean this up. But he lost quite a bit with that fight. Now, it does look like Trap is going to be staying on this very heavy gateway Archon army for just a little bit, charge lot Archon. So, I mean, from here, he's bought himself room once again. The attack, once that attack fails for a Terran player, you got to go back and play defensively because you're not going to be able to push into what the opponent is going for. Getting a little bit of work done here. Time hitting on multiple locations, however. He picks up to save quite a bit of his army there, and he will live to fight another day. He's currently up 20 army supply. He's just having a little bit of an issue breaking through that Archon wall from Trap. We are only 9 minutes into this game. Can you believe it? 18 workers going down. That was an amazing Widowmine hit. I'm sorry, Widowmine are like my Achilles heel. I can never seem to recognize where they are going. But you know what? This one is pretty easy to see. It's going straight from the main base. Time going where the army of Trap is not, denying that level 2 ground weapons. Going to kill off the Twilight Council as well. That's pretty much required for any additional upgrades. And he's just going to fight the army straight up. There's nothing here. Time taking game number 3 in very convincing fashion with that Doom drop of Doom. I mean, this series is worth the hype leading up to it because, my gosh, these guys are so evenly matched. They are trading blow for blow. We're going to be hopping into Submarine now. Oh, my goodness. This is the map that I'm expecting the most crazy shenanigans on. It's a very small map. It's very, very compact. You expand more than twice, and you're that much closer to your opponent. Sorry, excuse me. So, without further ado, let us introduce these players for the fourth time in a row. Spawning in the top position, he is Trap. And his opponent down here in the bottom, he is Time. Okay, so there are a lot of places just right off the bat where you can hide a proxy as the Protoss player. Um, there's also the option of just going really hard with a committed blink attack with charge slot follow-up, getting some Archons in there with the Templar Archive like you tried in the last game. If you're able to get that early advantage, that's going to be the most important thing for you. Yeah, there you go. A nice big proxy location right now. He just has to wait for that Cybernetics core to come down. But the question is, will Time scout it with the Reaper? Like, if he sees what's coming down here, it's going to be that much harder to hold. Yeah, excuse me there. Yeah, already this Reaper's just going to go straight for the main base, it looks like. So that's going to be a little bit of an indicator. Seeing the lesser amount of pylons, you do need to see about 3 of those at this stage in the game. So that's going to be an indicator that there is some sort of proxy out on the map. The Adept also going to be coming across to not only defend that, but go for a little bit of a poke himself. But actually, this is going to be full-on Void Race. He does not want to let that bunker finish. Do you, Trap? Okay, he does let it finish, but there's absolutely nothing to put in it right now, save for this one Reaper. I think this is where it gets really crazy. So the additional Adept's going to be coming across the Void Race. Can't really be fought right now as the bunker does not have anything that shoots up inside of it. I mean, from here, what do you really have? Absolutely nothing. Trap ties it up once again, and if this series goes on like this, we are going to be here for a long, long time. I told you, that is always going to be the map where crazy shenanigans happen. So 4 in the bag. Potential 3 left. Excuse me 1 second. Mute myself. I mean, Death Aura, another fun map. Lot of siege up positions where you can kind of hide those siege tanks, and you know, Trap does have a little bit of an advantage here. Just because I don't really have a reason why he has the advantage. I just feel like this is a map that he should win a little bit more often than most, but you know what? I digress on that. Let us introduce these players spawning in the bottom position of Death Aura. He is blue, Protoss, Trap. And of course, his opponent up here sporting that red coat. He is our Terran player, Time. All right, nothing too crazy just yet, but Trap is really trying to get these early wins. You kind of saw Time was completely blindsided by that. As soon as he lost low ground, he recognized the fact that he didn't really have anything to use. And look at this once again. Where's this probe going? Trap, you absolute madman. Once again, going to be going for that early win. It's going to be, but it's probably going to be Void Rays once again. But now the Reaper is going to get a good scout of it. Look at this pathing. So he's going to know what's up. So you are going to have to throw down an additional probe just to kind of keep this safe. Excuse me. But, I mean, can Time really get enough up to defend it? He's got to go up to the factory pretty soon. Get the tech lab started. He needs Cyclones. He needs Vikings. He needs pretty much a lot of different things to make this work. You know what? He's just going to try and stop this right now. Additional pylon going on down. The SCV is going to surround the shield battery. Yeah, I think this has pretty much failed here for Trap. Problem is he's invested pretty much everything into it too, so as soon as this goes down, it's pretty much tap out time. GG should be called here pretty soon. Looks like he's gonna try and macro his way out of it, though. He's just gonna make sure that he just needs to make sure that he doesn't be too aggressive. He doesn't really have too much back at home to defend. He's pretty much sent everything he has on the other side of the map in order to keep on rolling with this. Salvages the bunker. So now he feels completely safe. So he did build that Stargate back at home. Going to be starting that Phoenix production. And, you know, we got the Raven on the way. We've got these additional racks. So, I mean, from here, Time is just going to be kind of powering up. He doesn't really have any sort of aggressive builds coming up because we don't see any Widow Mines. We don't see any Siege Tanks. We don't really see any of the cornerstones of a successful attack for Terran. It's pretty much just pure Marines right now. And yes, a Cyclone. One Cyclone. The transition coming down for Trap. Pretty much standard stuff in this one. Just really not too much else to say. After a crazy beginning, we have stabilized into a normal game. That Phoenix count nice and healthy. That's going to be for picking off those SCVs in the back and probably the Cyclone as well. Scan going to be going down, revealing pretty much everything. Doesn't see the Robo Bay, however, that's not a big deal. The SCVs just getting absolutely decimated right there by those Phoenix. And now you have to play it a little bit more defensive as time. You do need to keep a couple of units back at home to defend that, or you just need to go completely balls to the wall and pull everything for a very big attack to hope to overwhelm your opponent. Which, by the way, he has a good possibility of doing. There is still no Colossus with this. He's chronoing it out as fast as he possibly can. But, here we go. Big stem coming on down. And one of the laser drafts does poke its head forward. The Adept going to get taken down by the Widowmine, and time will retreat right now to heal up and fight another day. But you know what? Trap is not mining off at third base. He is below 100 supply, and he's really relying on these Colossus in the back to clean up Time's forces, but I just don't know if he really has enough there, especially losing more and more to these Widow Mines. It's just a really bad situation for him overall. If given the chance to stabilize, though, he's going to happily take it, and he's going to really be able to take advantage of any lull in the action. So he's not dead yet. Although straight up fighting these Vikings in the right above the Marines, not the best option there. He's gonna not be able to remake that either because he is expending so much gas and so many minerals into Colossus Tech. Plus he's trying to get up to that Twilight Council as well, so he is, to a word, skint broke. Colossus here might not be enough here. Time has a very scary army. No force, barely any force fields for this ramp, but Time's just gonna rotate around behind the army, focus fire down these Colossus, and that's all of the splash damage gone. And Time will go on up to match point as we head into game number 6. This has the potential to go all the way, and I'm glad I got to share it with you guys. Okay, yeah, that was game number 5. You know what, Catharsis? That just means you have a little bit of caster in you. That is just the caster curse in action. Yeah, we're going to be hopping into Oxide, game number 6. Will Time be able to clean it up, or is Trap going to be able to pull it back? That's the big question right now, and I'm very excited to see how it goes. So let's introduce these players before I get too excited and start rubbing my hands together like an evil genius spawning. Down here in the bottom position, he is our blue Protoss Phenom. He is Trap. And his opponent looking to close things out for the final time. He is Time. keep a close eye on this first probe. This is going to be the indicator of how this game is going to go, because Trap, I guess he's kind of feeling the sting of these longer games, and so he's kind of starting to throw everything and the kitchen sink at his opponent. Looks to me like he's just going to be scouting things out for right now, as I'm trying to click away from him. There you go. But time. He's looking to hide something here. You'd never get that supply depot this quickly versus this. And there you go. He's going to be throwing down the factory, not an additional CC. That's going to be a big tell here for Trap. That something crazy is going to be coming his way. And really, you do want to kind of start preparing for that right now if you're not going to be going for any crazy proxy shenanigans. Interested to see what route he essentially takes with this, because there is the Widow Mine possibility. I don't think it would be Hellions. That's just me saying that, though, because I've got the Caster Curse too, Catharsis. But from what it looks like here, it looks like he might be going for a bit of a Hellion drop. He has sacrificed quite a bit of time here. He's got that CC a little bit later. But that's not the biggest of deals for him, I don't think. We do have the Twilight Council coming down for a quicker blink. He could also use that. Offensively. Versus this, because there's not going to be that much splash damage, not a lot of AoE. And yeah, this is actually starting to look like Dream play style here, getting those Widow Mines and the Hellions to kind of cement themselves together. And yeah, I'm loving this. Like, this has the potential to do so much damage. You drop the Widow Mine, force the probes into a bad situation, and then you just go roasty toasty in the natural. So we'll have to see how many probes can you get done with this. Blink only just halfway done, so it's not going to really be enough. Going straight for the main base as well. So the Hellions gonna segment out here. The shield battery doing what he can. He's gonna have to supercharge that because he does lose the sentry for free. The Hellions still get a couple of good connections, and now the Marines just need to focus fire down these few remaining probes. 8 going down already, as well as a few additional adepts. That's a lot of lost mining time for Trap. Take a look at that. 675 to 600. Worth. Now, the big problem with that is that while he did get quite a bit of damage done there, he's still pretty far behind in terms of that worker count because he expended so many minerals that he wasn't macroing up behind it. So he's still behind in a lot of different ways here, and I think he's going to have to go for another crazy push in order to kind of get back into things before Trap really has the time to recover. No pun intended. So now Trap is just kind of wanting to force that siege up. There's not that much. I mean, there's not that much at home here other than the Stalkers. Repair gonna go down on that siege tank. Gonna save it. Oh my goodness. And now adding in the additional Banshee as well. You got to use these guys to kind of pick off the reinforcements because time is going completely all in with this. Like, if this does not work, we are going to a game number 7. And the Stalker's going to take a huge connection right there from those siege tanks. The third base does go down. And while he is cleaning up a lot of these reinforcements, the siege tanks are a lot worse of an opponent there. 6 additional workers going down. And I think Time is working his way forward. And you know what? He's just going to close things out before Trap deciding to tap on out. So.